Hello guys, my name is Julian Bassa, and today I'm going to be discussing the 2009 Cordillera Landslides that occurred in the northern island Luzon of the Philippines. For an introduction, this event happened in September of 2009. Two typhoons have recently hit the northern part of the Philippines during this, and over 200 casualties suffered over the course of the landslides. I chose this event because I have family that were affected that live in Luzon, and unfortunately, my great uncle was a victim of the landslides that occurred, so this really hits home for me. For tectonic settings, the region discussed today is located on the Philippine Sea Plate. The Cordillera region is located in the northern part of the Philippines, and this area is located on a transform boundary, which is right here, while also being bordered by convergent boundaries. The Central Cordillera is cut by the northern branch of the Philippine Fault Line, which splits into four different branches: the Tebo, Tuba, Pugo, and Daltan. The Philippine Sea Plate is surrounded by the larger Pacific and Eurasia plates. The Philippine region is seismically active and has been progressively constructed by plates converging towards each other in multiple directions. The region is bounded by subduction zones where surrounding oceanic plates to the east and west slide towards the center of the Philippine Islands, acting as a compression force. For geologic settings, the Philippine Islands are set in the Pacific Ring of Fire, which is highlighted right here. And there are about 300 volcanoes in the Philippines, with 22 of them being active. Um, in the region being discussed today in Luzon, uh, right next to the Cordillera Administrative Province, and hence the name, it's very mountainous terrain. The Philippines experience around 2,000 earthquakes every year, while also experiencing around 20 typhoons a year, with 5 of them usually being destructive. Since the threat of earthquakes and volcanic eruptions are so high due to the location, the Philippines are one of the most prone countries or regions to experience natural disasters. The movement of tectonic plates and volcanic eruptions have contributed over millions of years to the formation of the islands of the Philippines. The formation of the islands involved the movements of 3 plates which converged in the region. 2 of the plates being major plates, which are the Indo-Australian and Eurasian plates, and the other plate being a minor one, the Philippine Sea Plate. The cause of this geologic hazard was mainly due to the second typhoon that hit during that small period of time, which was named Typhoon Parma. Typhoon Parma brought heavy rainfall, heavy winds to a mountainous region that had different social factors also contribute to the overall damage caused. Typhoon Parma formed on September 27th of 2009 and dissipated on October 14th of 2009. Over the course of a week, Typhoon Parma dumped up to 700 milliliters of rain over northern Luzon. The downpour of excessive amounts of rain lasted for about 3 days straight in most of the affected areas. This caused several dams to overflow, which then caused authorities to release some of the water to prevent an even more catastrophic event. Luzon contains a very mountainous region, so heavy rainfall plus an enormous force of wind was a recipe for disaster. Not only was nature a factor in this hazard, but the overbuilding of structures on steep slopes also had a role in the overall damage done. Just 2 weeks before this, Typhoon Ketsana had hit Manila, which is south of Luzon, and nearly took about 300 people's lives. Around 20% of the typhoons that the Philippines experience annually are destructive and cause severe damage. The Philippines are prone to typhoons, earthquakes, and volcanic eruptions due to the fact that it's in the Ring of Fire, making it a hotspot for natural disasters. What was learned? From this specific event, local government authorities opted to make better flooding systems and also to not overbuild on steep slope areas. Just more recently, though, government authorities have wanted to improve disaster preparedness with geospatial technology. Knowing that the country's vulnerability level is quite high to natural disasters, various government agencies rolled out a series of apps to aid local government officials in crafting local solutions to these disasters. These solutions are based on the National Exposure Database, the NED, which is a platform that collects data to aid in policymaking. In terms of disaster preparedness, local governments can now use technology from GeoMapper PH to create evacuation routes, develop evacuation centers, and situate public facilities far from danger-prone areas. On June 23rd, the PAGASA released their monthly climate outlook for the rest of 2021. They predict that 5 to 9 tropical cyclones are going to develop or enter the Philippines area of responsibility from July to September. They also predict that 5 to 8 cyclones will occur from October to December. So hopefully the local government authorities and the Philippines as a nation itself can use this newly acquired technology for them to help prepare and create evacuation routes just to minimize all the damage done. And that is it. Thank you guys for watching and listening to my presentation. I hope you have a good day.